Welcome everybody to another episode of the XoneBros. My name is X1 the Gamer. Mr. McSpicy is here.
Hello.
George the Man is
Hello.
here. And it's another week in the wonderful world of Xbox. We're heading into a long weekend, which I'm very much looking forward to. I have not been able to game all week. It has been intense. It has been intense. And I don't think it's just, I think what it is like we're at the end of summer here and things pick up and things get intense. But anyways, welcome everybody. Good to be here. Some big news regarding Halo that we should probably just jump into right away. Jordan the Man has a little bit of an asthma thing going on here, so if you hear it...
You're going to say something else. Never mind. I don't want to.
Hey, what do we call the people that listen to the X1Bros? Xers? X1ers?
Brosifs.
Brosifs?
Brosifs and
Bros and hoes? What do we call the ladies? Brosephus?
Sisters? Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters.
We call them Jennas. Jenna. It's like a hot... If you're listening to the X1Bros and you're a lady, it's because you're hot.
Tell us what you want to be referred as in this community.
I feel like Jenna.
Why Jenna?
Jenna's like a hot lady.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, don't you think
That's
so?
like the term?
I mean, that's Jenna McCarthy, or is it Jenny McCarthy?
I don't know. Where did you... We were going to talk about Halo.
I'd rather talk about hot ladies because Halo is disappointing. Let's talk about Halo. Jordan, what happened this week? 343 made some announcements. What did they...
All right. So 343 came out and said that they're basically...
They hate the community, right?
Yeah.
No.
They're basically essentially just shifting things around and doing stuff. So I'll give you the whole story. So they came out and they said that they are extending the current season to March of 2023, which will make it a 10-month season, which is, with the current content we have now, is...
We were already complaining that, one of the biggest complaints was how long the seasons were. They were too long.
Yeah, the original intent of this season was to go until December, correct?
November.
Yeah. So from May to November.
Now, that being said, they kind of have after they announced that, they talked about, they basically have a season 2.5. It's a winter event that will be, I believe it's beginning November 8th, which is originally when season 3 was supposed to start. And it'll have it's basically an apology patch. It's, hey, we're sorry. They're going to give us a free 30-tier battle pass, which is cool. A bunch of reach armor that they were probably going to put in the store anyway, so at least we can earn it now. And
that was a little passive-aggressive jab.
Well, let's be honest, it probably was.
I know, it's true.
That's going to kind of hold us over till March. And the reason they're extending till March is because what was the word they used? I think they like seasonality or something like that. But basically what they want to get to is they want to get to the point where
they have a functional game.
Yeah,
live service game.
Live service game, yeah.
They want to get to the point where they can start dropping these every 4 months. You know what I mean? Like a proper live service season. And they said that, this is where it gets interesting. So they said that they're reallocating a bunch of sources or resources to do that. And that's good, great, and fine. But they did say that once season 3 hits, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe when they were talking about it in the video, they said that when season 3 hits, they're going to move toward that seasonality that they want to do. So there's no guarantee that season 3 will be the first season that we get, that will be the first 4-month season, and then they'll, kind of get into the groove. So there's no guarantee. So it's just kind of...
there's been no guarantees this whole ride.
Well, and that's the problem. And look, this is what I think. This is my opinion on the matter. It's incredibly disappointing. I think what they're doing is probably the smartest move for them as a development team. They got to get a handle of what's going on. I think they do need to reallocate resources and get this live service to where it should be.
Yeah.
I think it's a necessary evil. That being said, it's incredibly disappointing. It shouldn't have happened like this in the first place, and I really do believe I can't keep shilling, for 343 and Microsoft. I think 343 and Microsoft, both of them, dropped the ball very far.
Yeah,
they dropped the ball and they let it roll across the street. Like they really dropped the ball on this one. So, and that's, like I said, it's a necessary evil, and I hope it fixes it. But it's hard to stay optimistic after all these things, Yeah,
absolutely. Let's throw up some Halo while we watch it, because this thing is the single player is world class. the single player version of the game. Now, granted, they did say that localized co-op is not coming.
Yep. So that's a part of
that hurts.
Yeah,
That
that's a part of reallocating resources. They're taking the resources that were on that and they're going to put them towards their seasons that they're working on towards March. It's just when it probably comes down to the business side of it, I get the reason behind scrapping split screen co-op. When they see the numbers on their end, it's probably not big numbers, right? Because a lot of people are playing online co-op.
Yep.
But that being said, I think that little feature, that is what made Halo Halo, and I think that's something you put in for the fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you put in for your hardcore audience. It's like, hey, you guys have been with us since Combat Evolved. Here's split screen. Play it like you did. And don't get me wrong, I will say if split screen came out, I'll be honest, I would probably play it maybe 20% of maybe 10% of my Halo time, right? And that'd probably be with my kids. You know, it's like, hey, let's do this level real quick together as they get older. So I mean, there's fun to be had there. So I get the reasoning why you're reallocating those resources, but I do think it's a huge miss, and I think it's hard for the fans because Halo split screen made Halo.
Yeah. It really did. Yeah, it really did. That's some of our most cherished moments. Are we wanting that? I mean, is split co-op kind of a dead, what would you call it? An amenity? What would you call this?
Well, I said, I think the numbers, like realistically, when you think about it, how often are you going to play split screens co-op? Obviously, it's going to vary from person to person. Me, I think it'll probably be 10% of the time, which is a low amount. So is them cutting this feature going to stop me from playing the game? Probably not. But it's just something little for the fans. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, here's another little feature for you. Well, I think it's something you do for the fans. I think
what's clear is this is probably what should have happened is just launch this. If you wanted to launch, it seems like they really were trying to launch Halo with the launch of the Series X and the Series S, this new generation of games, and it just wasn't ready. The single player, for the most part, is ready minus that co-op part, but the missions, I mean, like we said, world-class single-player game.
Yeah.
Multiplayer was not, looks like it needed two extra years for multiplayer live as service at least to be a thing.
The content, remember, I still feel the game is solid. The gameplay mechanics itself
minus some like desync issues and every now and then, you know, which they said they will be working on as well. So
I haven't found. Oh no, wait. I take that back.
There's been a handful.
I have been pissed sometimes.
I would say for every 5 games, I'll probably notice one desync issue or one weird multiplayer bug, but it wasn't like.
But I feel like that's with every game. Are we just? I feel like desync is a common element in a lot of games nowadays too. Like I know Tarkov suffers from it. Warzone suffers from it.
Yeah.
Apex, I have suffered from it in Apex. So is that something that has just come?
Well, it might be hard, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like Apex has improved.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't say Halo hasn't improved. I mean, I guess it has.
So let me ask you this: do you think like a move like removing the co-op? Because I still feel that is a big deal. Even though I was bringing up, is that something that has just fallen under the table with every game out now? I mean, I know what Call of Duty stopped doing that. Modern Warfare 2. Was that the one, or was it World at War? One of those a long time ago. That's when they shut off the split screen co-op. And the reason they do that is because game developers are maximizing the potential that the consoles and the hardware can put out. And when you have to do 2 screens, you basically
4, right?
Or 4 if you have you have to limit a lot of the hardware. You have to basically divide it by 4, divide it by 2.
Well, yeah, because if you think, I mean, the console's not rendering the game once; it's rendering it 2 to 4 times,
sure,
right? All at the same time. So, I mean, I get,
but let's say, I mean, you want to play with your son, for example, split screen co-op. At that point, you don't really care.
No, you're there to have fun.
About the fidelity of the game,
And let's be honest. I mean, we've said this before. You can have the most beautiful game in the world and it plays terribly, and you can have the ugliest game in the world and it can play great. You know what I mean? So I think graphics can help your game, but I don't think it's the end all be all.
So here's the thing that I don't know, and maybe this will. We had some. In chat, we had a questionnaire that David, I think, will get to whether or not 343 should be fired or not.
Yeah, should be continue to develop Halo. I mean, it's the discussion that is happening around the internet at the time. This is, I mean, it's a pretty big mess up.
Well, so real quick, if they knew that, or if they planned that they were going to cancel the co-op anyways, and did not tell us at the beginning, you know what I mean? Like for like the year and a half, however long this has been going on, that I think is kind of a
so there's
a douchebag move.
There's been some talk, even in our Discord. Shout out to our Discord, by the way. There's always good conversations I like to read through. But around the internet and in our Discord, they were talking about Bonnie Ross, I believe it was 5 years ago, talked about how they fumbled with Master Chief Collection with the multiplayer, and then they didn't include co-op split screen in Halo 5. And she said in that presentation that every future FPS will have co-op, right? Now, some arguments have been like, oh, they broke their promise. And the other side of the argument is, well, it's been 5 years. A lot has happened, And I get both sides. It has been 5 years. We have gone through, from what it seems like, a development hell with this game, and you transition to a new console. So yeah, I get it. There's a lot going. There was a lot going on. A lot did happen in 5 years, and I mean, it's that argument. Can you hold them responsible for what they said 5 years ago? I get both sides, but I don't think you can deny that it does set a precedent that they can't keep promises, because that isn't the first one. They or I don't know. Is keeping promises the good word? They can't.
They definitely didn't deliver.
Satisfy.
They satisfy. You know what I mean? Is that the word? I don't know what the best word is. I mean, I get both sides of the argument, but it's just kind of like, I think the reason co-op is probably a big deal, like why people, I mean, it is a big deal, but I think it's in relation to everything else, a 10-month season. Forge, I think, got pushed back a little bit from September to November, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, stuff like that I don't think matters. And even in the long scheme of things, when Halo does drop, because you basically have to relaunch it at this point on the multiplayer side of things in March when it drops, because let's be honest, unless they do some sort of events that is enough to keep people around, it will probably become an afterthought between now and then.
Well, the player base is going to, I mean, it's already low at this point because the seasons are so long.
Yeah, we can only see the numbers on Steam, but you got to think
said 8,000 concurrent.
I think Steam's even lower than that now.
Wow. Yeah,
I think, but you got to think. I mean, that mirrors across the board, right?
Yeah. So you have to they're going to have to do a big promotional relaunch of this, and it might benefit them if they come out and they nail it and they do a really good job. But it's still it's this interesting. You have example of other live service games, and you've just not been able to deliver on it. And there's a few questions that presents. Number one, should Xbox fire 343 from developing Halo in the future? That's definitely being discussed about because of this.
One, I think
we dropped a poll. Sorry, real quick.
Externally, right?
Yeah, like externally. Yeah, it's not been discussed.
The internet
internally.
is discussing.
The internet is discussing it. That's what I mean. We had dropped a poll in chat earlier, and you guys voted and said 59% said yes, 40% said no. And in all reality, that's a 19-point difference, but it's basically half and half.
Yeah,
it's closer than I thought it would be.
I think the reason that conversation is coming up is because, and to be fair, I mean, people have waited a long time through multiple games. Halo 4 launched, and it had the biggest player drop-off in Halo history, and that's because they tried to be like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And why are you trying to be like Call of Duty when you're Halo?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Halo 5 launched with bare bones content, although I did like those thrusting mechanics. I'll admit that. I enjoyed them.
You gotta love thrusting mechanics.
Who doesn't like thrusting mechanics?
You can't make me laugh. Every time I laugh is when the cough comes up.
My middle name is Thrusting Mechanic.
So, I mean, I did like the gameplay of it. The story was a little lackluster. The content was very dry. Same as Infinite, right?
Halo 5, you're talking about Halo 5.
Yeah, Halo 5. We didn't have a lot of playlists at the beginning. They updated it a lot, which is great. And then now you have Halo Infinite. You know, same issue, right? Your content is dry. The live service isn't there. You keep pushing things back. You're not launching with online co-op. I mean, at least Halo 5 had online co-op.
Forge mode.
The game was built around, Forge mode. And that's another thing Halo 5 didn't launch with. It's just, I feel like there's pillars that make the Halo game. And it almost seems like with each launch, they're taking away one of those pillars.
Well, don't you think, though, that the campaign in this one brought back a pillar, though?
I do.
The campaign
I do.
was very
I
good,
thought the campaign was really good.
It would have been fun if I could play it with co-op.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, zinger.
I think I've played...
We're going to hopefully get co-op soon, around November 8th.
I think Jordan, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I have played every single Halo, and you might be the same. The first playthrough was with co-op.
Oh yeah, that's actually
think that
all,
was like the
minus
pinnacle-
this one. That was all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the pinnacle of Halo. So when it didn't come out with co-op, it was it was okay, but there's something, one of the good sensations and vibes you get from Halo is just how much fun you have with your friends.
Yeah.
And that, you could be. Jordan and I think we were on party chat for a majority.
Yeah, so we were going through it, but it's not the same.
It's definitely not the same.
Yeah.
And so that's what that hurts. Not how, you're talking about all the content and stuff, but the co-op thing is actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no, that's
And just to be clear, online co-op is still there. It's local split screen co-op is for now scrapped.
so.
It's still there. It's not released yet, right?
It's not released yet. Well, I think November 8th-ish.
So in March in 2023 is when they're probably going to say that they're canceling the co-op.
Yeah, who knows?
You know what I mean? Because
supposedly it's going to release November 8th, but we'll,
this is the same Halo that, they announced a whole bunch of stuff, and 3 weeks later they said, never mind. Do you remember that? That was E3 of 2019, 2020? I was thinking it was 2020.
2020, yeah.
2020.
Well, I got a lot to say. I got a few more things, but I don't understand. I'm not trying to attack the employees or anything, right? I'm sure they're trying hard. They're just the employees that are working to make a great game. But something at 343 and Microsoft, at least in the management, something's going on. You know what I mean? So they really did drop the ball on this one.
Yeah. Let's take some super.
What if they were to have taken the $100 million
From the series?
And pumped it into the game? What if that would have happened?
Can you imagine? Right?
What could $100 million do to Forge mode?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take some super chats before we continue this discussion. KO Connects is 20 months at Tier 2 Arbiter. Thank you very much, KO Connects. To support the show, you can come over to YouTube and become a member. Just hit that membership button. Huge thank you to KO Connects, 20 months. Chief Wiggum, a member at Cortana level for 27 months. Love it, Chief. Thank you very much. And Chief also dropped 5 XoneBros gifted memberships. Huge thank you to Chief for that. And then we've got Super Shocker, who dropped a super chat and said, 343 has taken our beloved Halo and turned it into the new Chevy Blazer of video games. In other words, they ruined it. That is funny.
Just... I'm trying not to be, aggressive because it's more so just disappointment. Like I said earlier, I think what they're doing is probably the right move. It's a necessary evil to get the game back on track, right? And I want the game to get back on track, but it's just hard because you've been waiting so long, And then don't get me wrong, there's some cool things coming in the updates. We get 2 new maps for each update, which I think there should be a little bit more. In the Season 3, we're getting us. It's not a smoke grenade, but it's basically a smoke grenade.
Yeah.
Which actually I think will be really cool, especially on those arena maps. I think that's going to change a lot of dynamics of team play and high competitive team play. We'll see how it turns out, but it just like you were saying with that super chat, it's like they're giving me a kiss and then they're spanking me too. You know what I mean?
Sometimes that's
you don't like that?
I enjoy the kiss.
I'm kind of
but stop spanking me.
But what if I want?
I'm not talking about
Don't kink shame us.
I'm not talking about the bedroom spanking. I'm talking about school punishment spanking. You know what I mean?
The dunce hat.
Yeah, the dunce hat. Where they get the ruler. Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
let's be clear. To clarify,
it's not an enjoyable one.
I'm not talking bedroom spanking.
Yeah, I'm talking about the school ruler.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Chief Fitzy dropped another super chat and said, Chief is a brown noser. Thank you very much, Fitzy, for Cortana membership for 27 months as well. Does Xbox even need Halo to be its marquee game at this point? Especially when Activision comes through, the Activision Blizzard deal, you've now got Call of Duty Warzone. Is that your new marquee game? That's not going to be an
exclusive. That's not going to be an exclusive, though.
Well, I think eventually it will
exclusive to Game Pass.
In 4 or 5 years, I think it might be.
Yeah, you're probably right. But
hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
well, it is coming to Game Pass, regardless. So, and that's the play. Yes, you can pay $60 for Call of Duty anywhere else, or you can come play it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Well,
and so are we in the same mode? Does Halo need to be its marquee game anymore?
I don't think Microsoft, from what they've shown us, and I'm talking Microsoft at this point, Halo was Microsoft's flagship title. You can very heavily argue that if there was no Halo, there's no Xbox.
Yeah, of course.
Halo held up the pillar of Xbox. It is their flagship title.
It's their Mario.
Right now, not anymore. It's lost that over the years. I think their new flagship titles are Forza, Hellblade, and what's the other? Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves?
Yeah.
Well, but let me ask you this, though. If multiplayer just didn't come out, or they stuck to standard multiplayer, not as a live service, would you be saying that about this? What would you give this Halo rating if it wasn't for the live service part? And even keeping in that mind, you've both said the gameplay, even in the multiplayer, is world
I like
class.
the gameplay. Yeah, it's good.
It's the way it's been delivered via a season pass that is the issue.
Halo 3 had more live service than Halo Infinite. With their map packs and Forge mode, because I think, did Forge come out in Halo 3? I think it did. You know what I mean? Like, let's say there's no live service and we got what we got, it would still be a disaster because, one, we got bare bones with the multiplayer, talking playlists and everything like that, maps even. I mean, I guess, what was it, 8 maps at launch? If they're good maps, it's okay, but, I don't know. But I think we're in a day and age where, especially when all your other competitors are doing it, you got to keep people interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Spicy, you look like you're deep in thought.
I was going to even say, I actually thought about that. Jordan said that Halo 3 had more. Halo 3 had superior maps, I would argue, as well. I feel like their suite of maps are very, very iconic for me. Maybe it's just because I played them so much.
Look, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad I don't have to pay for the new Halo Infinite maps like we did back in the 360 days, but...
Oh, and the whole, how the challenges work, it's still... I get what Jordan's saying. It's a spanking you don't appreciate. It almost hurts.
But then
the gameplay's fun.
Then they give you a kiss.
Is that the right way to say it, though? Or is it more like it's a spanking you never asked for? Is that what it is?
Yeah. They give you a kiss and then they...
Because the game, you're enjoying yourself in the game, and then you get to that end screen where you're reminded how terrible the challenge system is and the content system is. And it's like, oh yeah, this sucks.
Well, and the thing
is it... Are we putting too much weight on just the live service aspect of it?
I'm going to say this. I do not think it is unreasonable for gamers to ask developers to include features that are in previous games. Forge, split screen, co-op.
That's fair enough.
A full multiplayer suite. I understand making games is hard. I understand you have resources. You have to pick your battles. But I also don't think it's unreasonable for gamers to ask, hey, Halo is known for online co-op. Halo is known for Team Slayer. Sure. Why are those not in there?
So Spicy, let's go back to, does Xbox need it to be the marquee game that it was? Brian F. in chat says, I would argue that it was their Mario, but while Nintendo banks on Mario, I don't think Microsoft needs to bank on Halo any longer. They are spread too wide for that.
Well, I don't think need is the correct term here. I think it's helpful for Microsoft to be successful to have Halo be a superior game. And it's happened. Halo has been a marquee game many, many times, and that's not necessarily the case anymore. I think that hurts Microsoft.
I do. It hurts your brand, too, because when you think Halo, you think Xbox. If Halo sucks, you think, Xbox.
Sucks.
So I think... maybe it's not needed because they have a wide foundation, but dang, it would help them be successful if everybody's playing Halo instead of any other game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's take some super chats as we continue here. Rescue Rook drops a super chat and says, I think Xbox will use this as an example of why they need to closely manage the studios from the ABK acquisition. And I would agree. I think a more hands-on approach. Remember, we actually had this discussion a few months ago. Maybe Phil Spencer's not the guy to deliver a AAA exclusive title. I mean, under his reign, has he delivered one?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he has with Forza.
But Forza
Horizon. I would even say Sea of Thieves, Doom.
But no, I'm sorry. None of those are still on the same Forza, with the exception of Forza. It's not having a God of War in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Well, no, but to be fair, Forza is the racing game. You have others.
It's true, but
Forza
But
is
was that Phil Spencer? I mean, Forza was already rolling before Spencer took over. They've just continued that momentum. So I guess you could say he got out of the way and let them continue that momentum. Or
it was what Forza 5 Motorsport 3 was at the original Xbox, right?
yeah. But Forza 5 was still rolling. And that was with the Xbox One before Phil Spencer got there.
But I mean, he did bring,
or got there. Sorry, before he got there, I mean, just took over as leader.
I mean, he did bring in like things like Game Pass, cross save, the whole Xbox campaign of having the two different prices. I mean, he's done a lot of good for Xbox. I get what you're saying,
and remember, Xbox was kind of suffering until they brought him in because they kind of screwed the pooch.
So
he was hamstringed at the start. You know, and so I think he's done a great job. But I agree. I guess the question is he the one to bring the exclusive marquee flagship games to the console or to
deliver those?
To deliver those?
I mean, he's set up the foundation for Xbox to succeed, but we really haven't had that marquee.
Well, and then I mean, you also is it Matt Booty? Is he the head of game studios or something like that over Xbox? So he's the head. You know, it's hard to say because I feel like half of their studios are doing good, and the other half are struggling.
Yeah, but are we overstating? It feels to me that we're a little bit overstating, like because this Halo is still game mechanics one of the best yet.
Yeah.
The multiplayer is still really good. The part that is the complaint is essentially the battle pass part, the live service part of it.
Well, last week we were complaining about that.
The content.
The content part.
It's a content.
And so are we overstating?
Like I said, I don't think it's unreasonable for people to expect Forge and Slayer to be in at launch. Now, that being said, they have fixed, Slayer is now its own playlist. Forge is coming. But how long do I have to keep waiting and keep saying, okay, it's okay, studios, publishers, it's okay. I'll keep waiting for my game to be great again.
I mean, that 10-month delay is...
Well, not a 10-month delay.
But
it extended to
10 months. 6 months was too long.
Something must have happened. And this is a ballsy leadership position for whoever made it on the 343 side.
Joe Staten's probably in charge,
it's
right?
It's the nuclear option, right? It's saying,
well, like I said, I think
we're not going to get this right. We got to get it right this next season.
I think it's a necessary evil.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's
But that being said, I do think gamers and fans have the right to be upset and disappointed, and I do think we can ask the question: how did we get to this position, and why are we still in it?
Yeah. Let's take another super chat from the one and only KO Connects. He writes and says, about Halo, he says they don't need it, but it's a principle now. They're showing what they do with what they've got. Not good for the new purchases, in his opinion. In other words, not good for the new acquisitions of Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard.
I had a really interesting... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you still talking?
I think he spanked you inappropriately.
Thank you. Thank you for that super chat, KO Connects. Yeah, I think to that point, Jordan, I think you were going to expound on it.
Well, I was going to talk about. I had a conversation with Barbara Blake today. Thank you for the compliment on the haircut, by the way, guys.
Oh yeah,
Someone
gave it to you.
Yeah, I had a conversation with him, and we were talking about the Halo stuff while we were in the barber shop, and he was telling me, and I found this interesting. He was telling me that his kids, they play Halo, but it's not their game. They're over playing Sea of Thieves, they're playing Ark, they're playing all these different games. And I thought to myself, well, why is that? When I was their age, and we're talking 10 to 15, right?
Sure.
I'm thinking when I was their age, we lugged we did anything we could to play Halo.
Yeah.
Why did Halo lose that? You know what I mean? I think that's the question we need to ask. Why did they lose that?
Well, it's not just on Halo, it's also on the market. So where are people at in the market? You got to remember, when you were playing Halo, there was no Fortnite competition. There was no Call of Duty,
Yeah, no, I guess that's right.
There was no Apex.
But that's my question.
So we've evolved, and Halo hasn't
led the way in
kept
that.
up with that.
Well, see, and that's the question, right? Why have they not kept up? What can we do to get these kids, running home to play Halo again?
I mean, I think that's definitely what they're trying to do with this attempt to go to a season pass, free to play on Game Pass, and actually free to play regardless of whether or not you have Game Pass.
Yeah,
that's step one. Step two is nailing this content structure. And if they could nail it in March, if they come in and just absolutely crush it, it's as good of a battle pass, it's as good of content as you get with any other live service game. Mm-hmm. This will all be in the rearview mirror, and we'll be just singing their praises. But that's a big if.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is another thing you got to think about is Halo. This fall, you got Overwatch 2. You got the new Modern Warfare, which is going to be huge. Yeah, I'll even throw Harry Potter in there beginning of next year. Are people going to want to come back?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think what's going to be difficult about this, not difficult, but they're going to throw a lot of money. It's basically a relaunch.
Yeah.
It's a relaunch of Halo.
Well,
and I guess you can do that too through tournaments, through streams. I mean, get free drops or something.
Yeah.
And do it that way.
It sure is a lot harder to come from the bottom, though.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, and even if you look, so they did the roadmap. They show the winter update, which in chat they were talking about, to your point, they are going to try and implement match XP during that winter update period. Mm-hmm. So that'll be nice and good. But going over to the May update, it seems like it's just the same. There's good things in there. It's like, okay, 2 maps, 1 arena, 1 big team. We got the new smoke grenade, which I actually think is cool. And then you got the DMR, which is coming back, which we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second.
Love that gun.
So, but is that enough? You know what I mean?
It might be the case that...
And another 100-tier battle pass and stuff like that.
So here's the thing, though. I don't think actual game mechanic changes, like the smoke grenade, adding the DMR, is going to keep people hooked. And that's the whole point of the battle pass. That's the whole point of the content.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of XP, is to show progression in the gameplay to get you to want to keep playing. It's the carrot on the stick. That's where Halo lacks. They don't have the content to keep us hooked. And so adding the smoke grenade, that's great. That'll be great for about 3 or 4 days when you're like, okay.
Yeah, then the honeymoon period wears off,
And the DMR is going to be great for 5 days.
Now, what they said about the DMR, I don't know. I mean, it's a long time before it comes out, but they said the DMR is your mid-range weapon, but it's also it'll also do pretty good close up. And I was like, what does that use? What? They kind of said it a little bit different, but that's just paraphrasing kind of the gist. Like, well, is it going to be overpowered? Like, what do you mean? The DMR is supposed to be the mid-range weapon, right?
Hey, but having an overpowered weapon is still okay in my book, as long as
I have it. Yeah,
as long as it's a power. Power weapons are great.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. See in chat B-Boy Will said that too. It's a mid-range weapon, but it does good close up. Well,
so do rockets, but I killed myself too.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. What does that mean? Like, is it going to be overpowered? So that was kind of funny, but it's just Halo's in an interesting spot. I'm more or less
I mean, you were raging, I think, because you sent us both a text and said...
Well, it wasn't like a rage. It was
rage.
It was just like... I don't know, maybe I just had to sit... Like, I get why they're doing it, and I support the reasons why they're doing it, and I think it's a necessary evil to get things back on track, but it's just overall a big disappointment.
Yeah, KONX dropped another super chat, said DMR used as an energy sword. Yes!
Hey... the DMR with the energy sword bayonet.
Ooh, I like it. The combo.
Yeah.
1-2 combo.
The ultimate weapon. It also is great at long range.
With the bayonet off.
Yeah.
So
I would love to see a new 2.0 launch and what I'd really like them to do, and I don't think a lot of people would be mad at this, but bring back a lot of those systems that were in Reach. Now look, Reach wasn't my favorite multiplayer Halo. It was good, but it wasn't my favorite. But the systems Reach had in place, like map voting, map vetoing, excellent system.
Yeah.
Why do we get rid of that? Oh, because we spent 2 hours on this map, and we want you to play. Well, let us choose.
Jordan, when they only have 3 maps, map voting is not actually a very good thing.
Well, anyway, but still, nonetheless, it's a good feature. I would love to see a ranking system like you talked about, like a casual ranking system where you just earn. I'd love to see actually MCC's ranking system put in here, and I would love to see the credit system that Reach had. One of the best systems, in my opinion, where you earned credits after each match, and you take those credits and you bought unlockable armor. And again, I'm not one to.
And that does keep it. I mean, that keeps it interesting. That's a little bit of that carrot on the stick.
Now, you do have to balance that with the store, but to be honest with you, and this is in 343's benefit, you need to revamp your store. You're only giving me 5 options for a week. You know what I mean? I'm trying to literally help you. Throw some more stuff in there.
Help me buy your shit.
Yeah, no, that's really it. It's like, guys, you're giving me like a weird helmet, and now I gotta wait till next Tuesday. Throw that weird helmet up there for 48 hours.
Give me another.
Throw me another one. Like,
well, in fairness, in the next, between now and next March, that's probably what they're creating.
Yeah, and I hope so, because, like I said, don't get me wrong, Reach is one of my top games. I did enjoy the multiplayer gameplay of it. There were some things I didn't enjoy, but Armor Lock, but I really enjoyed their systems that they had.
Yeah. Well, that's Halo, guys. We'll see how that goes next.
Yeah, I
March.
hope it goes good, but if
we can make it.
It's hard to be optimistic,
And if they can revive the.
Well, that's the thing. This has been Halo has become a very polarizing game because we are so into the game itself, but we get slapped in the face on so many other things within the game, like with the content and everything, and it has had such a rocky marketing standpoint.
I think the marketing is where they've messed up the most.
Well,
back to the unveil that you talked about earlier, Spicy.
Back to the unveil, and remember, what was it, like 9 months before the game was originally supposed to be released? I can't remember. That's when they kind of cleaned house a little bit.
Yeah, I
with
think
management.
It was clearly mismanaged for sure.
And there were stories of how a lot of employees were upset with some of the changes that what's this? You named
Joe Staten?
Joe Staten. Yeah, I was thinking Jason Statham.
Hey, bring him in.
Yeah, bring the transporter.
Yeah, he can throw out some ideas.
But I remember them talking about or having rumors of employees being disappointed that he was changing some of the systems already built in place. Because remember, he said, I went through and I played the game, and I'm basically want to make it a Halo game. And he felt like before it wasn't a Halo game.
Yeah.
And remember, when you do those changes on a game,
it pushes you back.
It pushes you back. Maybe not having Forge mode, maybe all that is because those nuclear options were taking place before, and so they were still trying to stay somewhat on release date timetables. Yeah. So, and maybe this is still the aftermath of maybe that move.
Well, I think it definitely is. I think they're probably still making adjustments, but
I would like to give credit. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but to take this season out till March is not an easy decision to make.
No.
But I think that's what good leaders do, is make those tough decisions. And so wherever this decision was made, I do have to give credit to it, because that does give you, that's just saying, hey, straight up, like, guys, we could give you a crappy in between seasons. We could do this and roll along and say, like, we're going to improve each season. We just need the time. We're going to extend this season until March of 2023. Revamp it all. Stay tuned for more. That takes some nuts. And I think
some Spartan nuts.
Like I said, if you're able to deliver that,
which are genetically enhanced,
if you're able to deliver that in March of 2023, this will all be a thing of the past. I mean, look at Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves. If everybody forgets this, but Sea of Thieves was launched to criticism, not critical acclaim, critical criticism. And it was very not to the best. And now, I mean, look at where we're at years later with that game. Yeah. And I think, especially when you're a live service game, it's you do get these opportunities to build upon what is already there, continually improve, and make it better. You just have to deliver it. And unfortunately, like you said, Spicy, I think the PR and communication part of it is where they've stumbled here.
Yeah, some emails are getting missed, and they're getting some emails that are being sent are getting in their spam folders.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of non-communication that's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah,
So-
but saying, okay, guys, we just got to hold off. While sucks, and you're gonna take criticism.
Yeah.
In the end, it might be the right move. It might be the right move in March, but we have to wait. We don't know until March comes to be able to see that.
Well, remember when was it season 2? Yeah. They do seasons, right? It's not chapters. No, I'm thinking.
No, Fortnite is chapters.
My mind's broken. Yeah. Remember they were saying season 2 it's gonna be great. We're making a lot of the changes, and we got some changes like we now get 50 XP per match or 100 XP per match or 200 depending on how many. But that was essentially there wasn't much more than that. You know, they promised us some significant changes to how the challenge system works, and we got them.
So
but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, do you think
You know
if
what I mean?
after season 1 they said, guys, we need until March 2022. We're going to keep season 1 until then.
Season 2.
No,
yeah.
but like you see what I'm saying? Instead of saying like,
well,
we're making these changes, season 2, if they would have just pulled the plug then, it would have been better or worse.
Well, no. Why I bring that up is I feel like the gamers, us, we are kind of turning into like jilted lovers. You know, we're
Name of the Sea of Thieves ship.
yeah, exactly.
The jilted lover.
The jilted lover. Like, how many times can they promise us something and only come through 30% of what they promised?
Yeah.
So Jordan yesterday when he was sending us those texts made me laugh.
There was passion coming through
There
that
was
screen.
passionate because this is Jordan. You're seeing Jordan calm down.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
he's
I've
having an
thought
asthma
about it,
attack
you know?
because of his rage.
Yeah.
But he's
No,
calm.
like I said, it's a necessary evil, but it's very disappointing.
I just feel like how many times can we be promised stuff and them not come through? So how many times have we said, well, if they don't come through in season 2, then things are going to get worse and worse and worse. Well, I think this is their last hurrah, right? I mean, if they're less than 8,000 concurrent gamers on Steam, that's not a large player base at all.
No.
That's very poor, and that's what's going on right now. So people are not playing their game.
Yeah, Rye51 in chat brings up a good point. He says the difference is between Sea of Thieves and Halo is Sea of Thieves was a completely new game. And I do grant you that there was what makes it harder and more, the reason there's more criticism lobbed at Halo, I think Rye51 is absolutely correct, is because there's an expectation. Imagine if PlayStation drops its next God of War. And it's terrible.
Which is very soon. by
It's
the
not
way.
terrible because Halo's not terrible, but it just doesn't live up to the player's expectation.
Well, I think Sea of Thieves had such critical criticism. You should coin that. Critical criticism is there was a lot of hype behind Sea of Thieves. We didn't have very many games coming out, and Sea of Thieves was the pirate game that we all wanted. Pirates were in, you know.
Well, and it did something new for the first time. It basically was just a sandbox experience that had never been done in that manner before.
And we did not know that it was going to be the game that came out. We were expecting a lot. I mean, I was expecting a lot from Sea of Thieves, and when it came out and it was like, here is the
Bare-boned. It
playground
was very much bare-boned,
that has
yeah.
nothing on it, but all the fun stuff you create yourself. Here is your world. You go have fun. I don't think I was expecting that, and so it was kind of a shell shock thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people were turned off by the initial launch of Sea of Thieves, was because there was so much hype behind it, and then it kind of was, well, what am I supposed to do? So I feel like, I don't know. To say that, I mean, it kind of is apples to oranges. I think that's what you were getting at with.
Yeah, that's
with
what
that
Rye51
comment.
I think is saying, that it's
Apples to oranges. But I still, there was still a lot of hype around Sea of Thieves as well.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just the hype of the game. Maybe we love Halo too much, and we want it to be better than every other game out there.
Yeah,
That's what we want,
Yeah.
and it's not happening. And maybe we're all frustrated because of that.
Well, and I think we just see the same mistakes being repeated.
Yeah.
Halo 5 didn't launch with Forge mode. Later down the line, came out with Forge mode. Really good. All right, awesome. Let's throw this into the new Halo. Halo Infinite didn't launch with Forge mode. You know, like...
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft should just buy Bungie. I mean, Destiny is the new Halo. In fact, that was one of the best tweets that I saw all week. Someone said, man, this Halo update is really making me excited for Destiny.
Yeah. Hey, can I say something though?
Yeah, say it.
funny.
Can you
Say
pull
it.
up the artwork for season 3?
Yeah.
It's very,
This is Halo?
yeah, it's very clean looking. I think it's one of their best
Are you
artworks
going to
that they've done.
compare Halo 3 to
Destiny?
No,
Reach?
Halo Infinite.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, the artwork for season 3 actually it looks really slick. It actually reminds me of Destiny artwork.
Really? Maybe
Yeah, but
they poached some people.
it's Halo Infinite season 3, and there's just like the picture of it. It looks clean, you know. Now, will that be the best thing of season 3? That's yet to be told.
That's yet to have been.
Where am I looking?
That story has yet to have
This
been
one?
written.
No, just type in Halo season 3.
Okay. Insert awkward silence. What am I looking at?
I bet you just click on an article, they might have
Try
it.
doing images real quick. Let's just see if it's quickly in there. There it is. Second row, far right.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Ooh.
pull that up.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's called Echoes Within, but
Oh, they also the even the text has a very Destiny feel there.
but I like it. I mean, hey, if something works, it works. I think it's just a clean image.
I mean,
you
if
know?
you're going to copy sex appeal from someone, you might as well copy it from Destiny.
yeah,
Look, it doesn't
it does. It looks clean, doesn't
It
it?
has two feels. I get two vibes from this. I get a Star Wars vibe and a Destiny vibe.
And Destiny, remember when it was released, it was like, I get a Star Wars and Halo vibe.
yeah. So, well done. I mean, if this is of things to come,
Can I ask you this? So let me ask you this.
sign
So,
of things to come.
Fortnite does crazy zany seasonal events.
Yes.
What if Halo did crazy big season events like that?
No. Well, okay. My initial, maybe I should think about this because my initial thing was,
Now, I'm not talking about like a Marshmallow concert, but let's take a season event where you literally log in to fight the giant robot that came out of the island.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That was cool.
Well, I mean, it depends
That
on
was
what
cool.
it is. It depends on.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm thinking in a sci-fi universe, you can do some crazy shiz.
Yeah, and you can keep it within lore because right now, all I'm trying to make the point is, season 2 cutscene, finish the battle pass, other cutscene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no ongoing story there that Fortnite
All right.
has with their chapters.
Well, like imagine what you can do with the flood. You could have a monster marshmallow, you know, with tentacles. Remember
Yeah.
Halo 2? Like that.
You
guy
can do
that-
the grave mine.
Yeah, you could totally do that. So you can.
And here's the other question: do you think if the rumored Halo BR comes out this year, if that can bring back a lot of players?
For 5 days. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You need, we've said it a million times, you need you need several systems. Give something for end game players, get something for mid, and get something for early.
Yeah.
You need to take care of those three. The end game is prestiging. I mean, that it could be as simple as that. Let's put an icon on Jordan's or my picture
That says, "I'm awesome."
That says how much of a badass I am.
Yeah.
That is super simple. You just need a designer and just start making some badges and just go crazy with it and then just add layers. I mean, I give Overwatch a really tough time, but they have some really great prestiging icons where it starts out bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, and then they just get stars on it and get bigger and bigger and bigger. You understand the prestiging with Call of Duty. If people play anything other than Warzone anymore, you get those just the badassery of your hardcore people.
Yeah. Well, and even though, look at that, it's something as simple as a number, right?
Yeah.
There was a thing when Gears of War 2 came out. I'll never forget it. It was Cliff Bleszinski when he was still working for the company and they came out with Gears of War 2. He was basically, again, paraphrasing here, he was talking about how first-person shooters have become RPGs. You know what I mean? Like that's what the people are pushing towards. And he talked about all we did is we put a number 1 next to your name in multiplayer. Then when you played it, turned to a number 2, 3, 4. He said all it was a number, but players loved it because it gave them something to grind for.
Yep.
And
that's your end. That's your end game.
And then of course they expanded on it, and further things. But yeah, it may just be a number, but it's something that you can tie to your in-game avatar.
Yeah. No,
And we all know, your
all
in-game avatar is you.
You did mention Quidditch, or you mentioned
What?
Harry Potter earlier.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, he did. I
Yeah,
don't
see,
remember
that's
how.
probably why I was more mad last night. It's been a week of dropped balls. In this case, dropped golden snitch.
Yeah, because the golden snitch shall not be in the new Halo new Hogwarts Harry Potter game. Quidditch will not be a part of it. That
Missed opportunity in my
opinion. That came out
opinion.
this week. Can I just say, so was there a Gamescom? There was a Gamescom gameplay trailer that was dropped.
Yeah.
Walkthrough. I have to say, I am very worried that this game is not what we think it is. I can't shake that feeling.
I really
when
don't
watched
have,
it.
Yeah.
It felt very linear. It didn't feel like a world that you get to explore. It felt like that's a marketing jingle. But in reality, I'm not sure that is the case. I don't.
You know, I have a lot going on right now, and that really hurts me because I'm very excited for that game. I mean, you're probably right, but that just is very disappointing because I'm really excited for that game.
No, but I'm just saying this just Quidditch thing is having Quidditch in there a big deal. No, but I do think it represents what this game is, and I think this game, and it may be just a very well told linear story.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. But the way that it's been marketed as explore the world denotes this open world Grand Theft Auto sandboxy experience of the Harry Potter world, of the wizarding world, that I really am hesitant. I hope I'm wrong.
Well,
but I'm really hesitant.
We're all jilted lovers.
yeah.
We just don't want to get burned
I mean,
anymore.
I'm going to go home like an idiot and watch both episodes of Lord of the Rings on Amazon
I
to
can't
further
do it.
abuse myself.
I'm not at a spot in my life.
We'll see
where
how
I
it
can do
goes.
that. I'm not at a spot in my life where I can do that.
Yeah, we've had too much heartbreak.
Yeah. You cannot say no split screen co-op and give me crappy Lord of the Rings in the same week. Hey, look, I don't know if it's crappy or not. It may be the best show ever. I hope it is. But I'm just very afraid to watch it.
I'll tell you what doesn't look crappy at all is the freaking House of Dragon.
I've been caught up on all the episodes.
Whoa. Is
What is
it
this?
as good as it looks? It's the Game of Thrones, but they're telling the story of the
Targaryens.
Oh.
And it looks
Bro.
That's all I can say.
So I've watched the first two.
Good.
I've watched the first two episodes. I think season 3. What day does it come out? Anyway,
Of what?
The episodes. I've watched the first 2 episodes. Waiting for the third episode. Probably watch it tonight.
I'm
if it's
waiting
out.
till it gets 4 or 5 in on House of Dragons because I know it's going to be one of those shows that like I got to see the next one, and
Yeah.
I hate when I have to wait.
I think it's good so far. It's kind of like those things when you started Game of Thrones. You're like, okay, I'm interested to see where this is going.
It looks, I think, from the trailers, it looks better than Game of Thrones.
I'm just gonna say this: the dragons do look dope. Like they,
In other words,
yeah,
bro,
yeah. I will admit, dragon
look
riding.
they look good.
Yeah, I will admit the dragon riding is cool. No, it's keeping me hooked.
That's good. So maybe I'll skip Lord of the Rings
I do think
and go for House of Dragon.
I do.
What? Wait. Okay. Are you going to say?
All I'm gonna say this.
Is there much masturbation in this show, like in Game of Thrones? It's a question. It's a question. Is that what you're going to say? Like,
No.
there's scenes-
Yeah, that's definitely what Jordan was
No,
going to bring
Jordan
up.
was going to talk about.
But I would like to say,
Did they HBO it?
oh well, yeah, of course. But I would like to say, I really would like to know the mind of George R.R. Martin and Martin and the screenwriters, because sometimes they put stuff in and you're like,
Like what?
I mean, it's like
Give me an example.
It'll ruin story stuff. Yeah,
okay.
it's like, okay, cool. You know, it's okay to be weird, right? But I do feel like there's a line. There's a line, you know, like, hey, okay, that's cool. Did you have to do that? You know,
Like what happens?
it's like
Don't.
it's like the scene in Game of Thrones where you have one guy doing his thing, looking through a peephole at another guy and a girl doing their thing, looking at a third peephole of like a whole room of people doing things, and you're like,
Why do we need to show this?
and you're like, hey, cool, you know, yeah, sure.
Well,
you know,
the thing is, for the record, that scene is not in the book.
I don't think a lot of those scenes are in.
No,
the
they're
book.
not. Like even the beginning in Game of Thrones when Tyrion is at Winterfell and is doing his whores at the whore house.
Yeah.
And just doing people.
But at least
that's not in the book.
At least that had context behind it. His brother was like, yeah, get it over with. And he sent in like 8 women.
Yeah,
so at least it
kind
had
of developed that character.
At least
What
it
Jordan's talking about is the stuff that has no character.
I'm
Passing
legitimately
a transition shot.
I'm just it's a
There's
peephole
a battle.
orgy.
There's a giant battle happening, and the White Walkers are coming, and
Orgyception.
the transition from the wall to
You're like-
the White Walkers. This passes a guy masturbating. And you're like, what?
Yeah, there's no
Looking
there's
through
no
a peephole
reason.
to more guys doing it, and then looking through a peephole to a giant like
What?
orgy thing.
What is this?
And look, hey, I'm sure that would sell a lot of tickets, right? If they did that, whatever. But it's like, do you guys ever have those shows where you're watching and you're kind of like, you look around because you're like, is anybody watching me watch this? Like, this is, I don't want to be caught watching this, you know? Game of Thrones did that to me at least once a season.
That's how I felt when I watched Twilight. Just that bad.
You're just kind of looking around.
Like, oh my gosh.
Is
this
anybody...
Although, I don't want to bring it up, but I think, David, you like Twilight, right?
I don't think it's as. I think it's hip to hate. I don't think it's as bad as people.
KO Connects brings up a really good point. They could try putting that in the Halo Battle Pass, see if that drums up some content.
Rated M for mature.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Oh, man.
Let's take a question before we get out of here for the day. Let's take it from Saint of God. If you want to leave a question, you can do so every single week. We actually pinned the mail sack. The mail sack is permanently pinned at the top of the Discord page under forums.
So ask questions whenever you want.
Leave a question whenever. We'll go through, review. Maybe we'll delete old ones. That way we keep them newest. The newest rises to the top. Anyway, Saint of God writes in and says, love the show. Been listening since episode 50. Wow.
Wow. Nice.
Saint of God OG. He said, I decided to quit competitive gaming, at least for now. It makes me too angry, which has been affecting my mental health.
Yeah.
He says, I have over 2,000 hours in Warzone and play games like Fortnite, Battlefield, PUBG, etc.
Yeah.
I just can't do it anymore. I love shooters. I love the Battle Pass grind, but no matter how much I play, I don't get better or I die in the dumbest ways. Is skill-based matchmaking to blame? Do you have any suggestions? And have you felt like this before? He finishes, I love single-player games, but I know I'll be missing the social aspect of playing with friends. We have touched on this before. Let's start with Spicy here. He doesn't seem to getting better. He's got 2,000 hours in there. Is skill-based matchmaking to blame for that?
Well, I wanna bring up the point how I respect that question a lot because I think mental health is very important, and I don't think a lot of gamers pay attention to how they feel. I know this sounds weird, but to how they feel while they play games. And I had this discussion with my nephews when they were playing. This is a year or so ago. When they were playing Fortnite, and they would just get pissed. PvP games, one of the great things about them is it's competitive.
Yeah.
And when you have that competitive nature, I think competitiveness is awesome in itself. It's you're pushing yourself to get better, et cetera, et cetera. But when you get to the point where you're starting to feel terrible while playing video games, something that's supposed to be fun, maybe it's time to take a break. Maybe it's time to switch games. And that's why I bring up the discussion with my nephews, because I would tell them, pay attention to how you feel. If you are not having fun, don't play that game for a little bit. Take a break. Go do something else. Learn to play the guitar, play the drums, go outside, kick a soccer ball, maybe play a single player game, And so I really like that he brings that up where he's wanting to stop that because he's noticing how he feels and how it's affecting him. I think that's extremely important, and I don't think that's talked about enough, I guess I would say. So what was the original question? I was distracted by how awesome.
So he's not getting any better. Is skill-based matchmaking to blame? And what advice do we have?
So my advice, I guess, would be to pay attention to how you feel, and if you don't feel happy while you play the point, you're playing a game. It's important to enjoy yourself, recreation, the recreation of video games. It should be a benefit to your mind, and if it's not, I would suggest maybe you're stressed in other areas of your life as well. I know for me, sometimes I can't play video games not because I'm playing them too much or it's too competitive. But my life is super, super busy, super stressed, and I just can't hit that A button to play the game, or I don't know what it is. But I would suggest finding other hobbies that you enjoy and relax, because maybe it's stress that's causing that. Now, if you feel like you're not getting better, and you want to get better, but you're not getting better, maybe I know what helps me is to not blame other players and not blame latency issues and not blame anything that's out of your control. You look at a lot of professional gamers, when you watch them stream, a lot of the ones that are on top, they don't complain. And I'm not talking about professional streamers. I'm talking about like pro players.
Yeah.
Generally, they don't complain about those things. They die and they go, what did I do wrong? What did I do in order to? Why did I get in that situation? They will analyze it. They don't get mad. They will analyze their play, find out what they did wrong, and it's actually they're very calm about it. It's still a learning experience, and it is still a game to them. It's not about blaming. It's about improvement. So, to answer his question, how can he improve? I would say there's software out there that records the last if you're on a PC, records the last like 30 seconds of gameplay, a minute on gameplay. Obviously, that's on the Xbox with the DVR as well. When you die, do that and look and see what could I have done better. Was my positioning off? Look at. Look at what sports teams do. They have the reels. They go through. They look at gameplay that they previously did. I would say do that if that's what you want to do. I know I'm speaking forever. I'm in an age in my life where, I have really poor vision and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I know that I'm not going to be able to compete with a lot of the younger generation. So it's more improve myself. Compare your gameplay to yourself, not compare your gameplay to others.
Yeah,
and that will help you improve, not the other. And it'll help you if you have that mindset. Maybe it won't get you so pissed all the time.
Jordan, any thoughts on this?
That was so long.
Any thoughts on the skill-based matchmaking?
Yeah, going to the skill-based matchmaking, I think this is a debate that'll go on for the end of time. There's a lot of arguments for it and against it. My personal opinion, I think I get the argument against skill-based matchmaking because, like, you could just have, and this may be part of the reason he had to step back, because you could just have sweaty matches. You know what I mean?
Sweaty.
It just gets,
everyone's leaning into it.
Yeah, it gets really intense, and that's just all you're doing. And I get sometimes you just want to, hang back and be casual and just enjoy life and stuff. But I always, when I hear people arguing about it, I always think you got to think of the other side, right? If there was no skill-based matchmaking, you would, I believe, would have a higher chance of getting into matches where you're not meant to be. And then as a beginning player, you would get just dominated, right? So, what's the right answer? I think it's hard to say. Look, I think there's more pros to skill-based matchmaking than cons, and people may disagree with that, but I think it might be the best system we got right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it does more good than bad, although I do understand the bad aspects about it. But
yeah, very well said. Let's take some. Thank you very much.
That was a really good question.
That was a good question. Saint of God, thank you very much for writing in. Appreciate it. Let's take our last super chats here. KO Connects drops another super chat. Huge thank you, KO Connects, for that. He says, a week of deep voices per Jordan. Yeah. We do have, Jordan does have that deep voice.
And, yeah.
And we've got another super chat.
You said the last one, so I didn't know if you saw that.
From Rescue Rook, he says, "Heyo, just wanted to shout out that my baby boy was born this week, and I have him in my arms for his very first XoneBros show. Maverick enjoyed every minute.
All
Maverick,
right.
he went with Maverick.
Yeah.
That's best name. Congratulations,
Good name.
Rescue Rook.
Yeah.
Means a lot." And we got Defenestrator dropped a super chat as well and says, "Congratulations, Rescue. That is awesome." Speaking of Maverick, that movie did drop this week.
Excellent movie
To purchase on the streaming places.
I think it's one of the only movies I've ever pre-ordered.
pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I pre-ordered a movie.
It's so good.
So
if you
good.
guys if anyone ever hasn't seen Maverick, watch it. It'll
Change your life,
talking about
man.
balls dropping.
It'll
That'll
change
do
your
it.
life. Dude, I love Rest Your Work that you named your son Maverick.
That's cool, yeah.
Super cool. Super cool. Well, that does us for this week, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for hanging out, having fun, putting up with our Yahoo-ness for the X1Bros out there, for the... What was the name for the girls? For the Jennas out there?
You really. I
Well, we
think
gotta
there's
come
a
up with
better
names.
name.
Yeah, what are the names? We need to come up with better names.
We'll think about it.
Sisters. We're the brother.
The
The
X1
brotherhood.
brothers
The brother.
and sisters.
Yeah, the family of
brothers and
gamers.
sisters of the bros. The X1 bros. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Keep it real.
Yeah, we're gonna have another 20 seconds of.
Just nonsense coming out of my mouth here. We've got 16 seconds left, everybody. And let me tell you, in that 16 seconds, if you have never had a Dr. Pepper vanilla version cream soda, you're missing out.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yes.
It's extremely good. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Defenestrator, have a good one. Goodbye, everybody.